What's up, sleepyheads? I didn't send out any alerts. I didn't send out any news. Nothing. It's early and it's late. But I got fans that's up late, like my man Jerry Reeves. I got fans that come out late. Morning. Okay, if it's morning to you, let's go. Kadeem the King, what's up? What's up, Delaney? And John. Alan Humphreys is up. Marcus is up this early. We ain't seen Kadeem in a minute, y'all. What's up, Mr. Marley? Julian Clay. I see y'all in there. Y'all like we here to get it early, not late. Eminem, the new president of Motown. Jareek. That might be, we laugh now, that might be next. You know, the company that was started by Russell and Rick Rubin is now in the hands of Paul Rosenberg. Why? Because now that label means nothing. Let's get into why it's been driven down to dog snot. The only thing that's of value at Def Jam is all the old recordings. Nothing new that they have there really exists. Def Jam's not even a label anymore. They just keeping that so people can identify with the old recordings. It's actually something else. It's bought and owned by a couple of other entities that came and bought it up. I think Universal came and swooped all those labels up anyway. So the only reason they want to keep Def Jam on the door is for the old legacy. So when people are like, oh, Def Jam, you think of LL Cool J, the old Rockefeller days. You know, you want to be able to identify with the name. Now, Paul Rosenberg, what has he done? Who is he? Some people might not even know who he is. This is Eminem's manager. Longtime best friend, collaborator, failed rapper. And what people don't know about this man is that he is a very idea-driven human being. I seen one of them. I don't know if I seen all of them. Gaddafi. Now, what does he bring to the table? He's very good at coming up with innovative ideas. He was president of Shady Records. And that was a perfect name for Shady. They done a lot of things at Shady Records that were awesome and a lot of things that were shady. Now, when you mention he's the president of Def Jam, you're really talking about the hand. Jimmy. So Jimmy Iovine has just scratched his hand over the Def Jam and don't have to run it. Paul Rosenberg can run this company. But he does it at the nothing gets go past Jimmy. When he was at Shady Records, if there was something controversial or anything that was tough, Jimmy had to step in and make those decisions. Now, his main priority is Eminem. When he was manager and president of Def Jam Records, Eminem was his best, his number one priority. Shady 45 and all that things, that was Paul's idea, from what I heard, that they had their own radio station and come up with their own music, and that way they could present it out that way. If Eminem dissed Jimmy, his career would be over. That's never going to happen. You don't even have to worry about it or lose sleep of thinking, like, is that even a possibility? It's never going to happen. Eminem is very aware not to bite the hand that saved him and fed him. Now, Rosenberg does a lot of the dog work. Like, he tries to fan out fires that come along with Eminem, because Eminem was his only breadwinner for a long period of time. But when they started Shady Records, who did they sign? Like, I don't remember him protecting Obi Trice. I don't remember Paul Rosenberg protecting D12. I don't remember him protecting any of these guys. Matter of fact, they didn't have any protection. Proof got beat up in Florida. There was nobody looking out for Proof. And he was a Shady Record artist. So I'm kind of finding it hard to believe when they say he's in charge of Def Jam. He knows how to run a company because he's going to run it through Jimmy. But what did he do for Slaughterhouse? What did he do for Yellow Wolf? What did he do for any of the artists that were at Shady Records? It was like the only artist he really did something for, or you could see that he really did something for, was Eminem. Now, they're going to try to credit some of 50 Cent's success to Paul Rosenberg, and that would be a mistake. Paul Rosenberg didn't do anything with 50 Cent. If 50 was in collaboration with Eminem, yeah, then you got Paul's attention. But you know what they're going to say? We made 50 a huge star. No, Jimmy came in and took in a percentage of it. When Dr. Dre came in and signed up, that was due to Jimmy. Jimmy said, get a piece of this, Dre. Dr. Dre went in and signed a deal with Eminem so that Jimmy could have a hand in this, so that 50 Cent wouldn't come in and totally destroy the label. If there was something that needed to be fixed, Jimmy's got a piece of it. So Jimmy Iovine had a piece of 50 Cent. And who, at the behest of anybody he had issues with and had a problem with what they were doing, it was Jimmy Iovine's involvement. Had nothing to do with Paul Rosenberg. Now, Def Jam is in apparel. Now, do I think he's the answer? No. The work has been done by the same person that's always been there, which is Steve Bartles. They haven't had anybody really take the realm of president. That's how much the company has been irrelevant. in the last couple of years. Paul Rosenberg is a failed Jewish rapper. He loves raps, claims he got outstanding bars, but a lot of people tell him every time he raps, Eminem wrote it, or that's an Eminem left off track. But he's Eminem's manager, who's now the new president of Def Jam. Paul Rosenberg. Paul Rosenberg was assigned to Eminem. And both of them together created Shady Records and what's Eminem and blah, blah, blah. But who else has he worked with, Paul Rosenberg, that he had some success that would put him in a situation to be president of Def Jam? See where I'm going with this? What is his qualifications? So Paul Rosenberg is merely going to be the face of the whole situation. Steve Bortles will be running Def Jam. He was president of Shady Records. And Shady Records right now is holding on by the string of Eminem. They have not had another successful artist besides 50 Cent and Eminem. Nobody since 50 Cent has left has come close to selling the amount of records that 50 Cent has. Exactly. D12 they sold 1 million records their first album. They sold 1 million records the second album. Barely. And that was all you saw of D12. They didn't release, Shady Records did not release anything for D12. There was a lack of marketing around D12. Stat Quo situation was messed up. Everybody who was at Shady Records, they got done shady. 50 Cent contract was shady. 50 Cent wasn't even getting 50 Cent a record when he was with Shady Records. They were getting paid off deals and producing. That's how Shady Records was making their money. When Eminem wasn't rapping, he was getting money producing. That's why at the end of the year, you look at the Forbes list and you look at the top rappers, Eminem would still be in the top. He would be like earning $17 million. You're like, what did Eminem do? He didn't even put out a record. What has he did to make this money? He was producing records. Producing songs for other people, doing movie soundtracks. And this is how you make your money when you got a record label and you don't have any standout artists at the time. So you save money on artist development and everything else. Roc Nation didn't even put out a artist. Do you realize that? When Roc Nation came out, they didn't put out an artist for like 3 years. All they did was have signed people who make beats, engineers, and get paid that way. This is when Rock Nation first came out. So they had time to develop. They were putting out nothing but engineers, signing people who make beats, who got songs, and they're producing records. Get some checks coming in. Now you look what the biggest artist Def Jam has right now is what? 2 Chainz. Y'all know 2 Chainz, right? Two Chainz is their biggest artist next to Big Sean, and that's it. That's really what Def Jam has. A lot of people like Nas is over there. I'm like, yeah, but what Nas is doing? Nas don't really need to put out a record. They just gonna put Illmatic out again in another 10 years. Then they're gonna put out another Illmatic after that. And I'm like, that's Columbia's doing. Dr. Dre is paid 6 ways to Sunday. Dr. Dre is a producer. He don't have to make a record. He's a billionaire. He's got partnerships and other things, especially the Apples and Beats. He ain't got to do nothing for the rest of his life. Yeah, their albums were great. But you got Steve Bartles who's doing his job and nobody knows him. Paul Rosenberg at least has a face because he's taking a lot of pictures next to Eminem, but nobody really knows him except for being the Paul Rosenberg character that everybody know. The guy that's right next to Eminem. They were like, oh, it was his idea that Eminem change his hair blonde and get the blue eyes. Logic has sold more records than 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz, you don't understand. You guys are thinking about albums, right? 2 Chainz had the most appearances probably by any rapper in Def Jam's history. Go and look how many collaborations in the past 4 years 2 Chainz had. I know you're talking recently, but if you put Logic on something or you put 2 Chainz on something, who you think gonna come over and see what? Nobody's checking for Logic. I barely know who he is. But then there's the dark side. The dark side of Paul Rosenberg. When his empire is threatened, oh yeah, he's got the sinisterness. See, he's the face to what Jimmy does. He's the guy that destroyed the Source magazine. They went after Benzino because Benzino went after Eminem. Now, Mario, in a way, you're right. You're right in a way, Mario. Benzino's ego helped destroy getting in a war with Jimmy Iovine's top artists. Not a smart idea. Paul Rosenberg is just going to be the hand that is used to implement all this. But in Paul's defense, he tried to make peace with Benzino. He tried to reason with him. But Benzino felt he was, he had a little DJ Academic in him that day. He had a sip of DJ Academic, and his ego was way through the roof. And he didn't try to hear it when Paul tried to talk to him. Instead, he recorded his voice, put it on a record of him trying to, smoothen out the situation, and put it on a diss record for Eminem. Once he did that and played Paul Rosenberg like he did, Paul was in trouble. Jimmy was like, why would you do that? Why would you call Benzino and talk like that in that format with him? And he was like, I thought he was a businessman. I did not know he was a full-on, full-out rapper, but they knew he was a street hood as well. Like, he had power in the street. So, they have something that beats the street. It's called power. They have power in the courts. They have power in the system. And that's how they got things done. Power. Legally. They had security forces around Eminem. He had 7 legally armed protection at all times. Not to mention his entourage of people that he took with him. But he had Secret Service guards who were armed and trained to shoot to kill surrounding Eminem. So Eminem could do whatever he wanted. If anybody came up and ran up and touched Eminem, they were fired. That was not supposed to happen, and it wouldn't happen. So Eminem was protected at all costs. But to protect this tape that came out of nowhere, which was going to destroy the whole fabric of Eminem, they submerged the tape to where it couldn't even be leaked. Then they made it obsolete. Then comes Ja Rule, Irv Gotti. Another Paul Rosenberg situation. When this started, before it even got off the ground, 50 Cent brought the Ja Rule beef to Shady Records. This is why they were scared. Because Irv had been extorting the business for a long time, and they never crossed paths with each other. Irv figured, as long as I got these hit records, can't nobody do nothing to me. We running rap. We got the hottest selling artists. I got DMX on fire. I got Jay-Z on fire. I got Ja Rule now. And Ja's on fire. And I manage Ja Rule. So Irv was like in his I can't be touched mode. now becomes a bigger problem. Irv, they sound 50 Cent. Irv Gotti sent a warning to them when they sound 50 Cent. I hope you know what you're doing by bringing this guy in on your label. If you bringing in 50 Cent to attack Ja Rule and murder INC, that would be the biggest mistake you guys have ever made. So he basically sends a threat to Paul Rosenberg. The minute they signed 50 Cent as an artist, they had a talk with 50 Cent, and 50 promised not to diss Murder INC. Made a promise to them that he was not going to diss Murder INC, which he was upholding. He wasn't dissing Ja Rule, Irv Gotti, none of them. All that was done. But Murder Inc. decided they couldn't take the risk. They didn't know or believe 50 Cent would do it. Even though Paul said that they wouldn't, they didn't want to get caught blindsided. So when 50 Cent was getting ready to come out and all this promotion they putting behind 50, and it's finna be huge, they had to get ahead of the situation by trying to destroy his credibility by saying, he's an informant, he did this, he did that. And they're in the magazines talking about, bragging about how they beat up and stabbed 50 Cent. Just basically trying to take away all the money they spent promoting 50 Cent to being the toughest guy in the world for getting shot 9 times. They're making him out to be a punk in their interviews. And Ja Rule sends a threat in the source to Eminem. If you authorize 50 Cent to diss me, I will come after Shady Records and Eminem. That was a declaration of war. Because now you put a private conversation that Irv had with Paul Rosenberg into the public forefront. The truth is, 50 Cent, he had a section of the streets. He had Queens. Okay, he didn't have New York. Let's be clear on that. Irv and Ja, they ran New York. Don't get that wrong. 50 had mixtapes out and they were banging. But a lot of people wanted to sign 50 but couldn't because of Murder INC and the power they held in that hip-hop realm, especially in New York. No one would dare challenge Murder INC at that time. They had too much power in the hip-hop game. They were blacklisting rappers. They were doing whatever they wanted, and could nobody make a move. Now, in Queens, 50 Cent was making his noise, getting his buzz back. So when he got signed by Shady Records and Eminem, people were happy for him. Because there was a lot of artists, that people that wanted to sign him and felt like we sign you, they're going to drown us out and it's not going to be a good idea. So now that he got on, he wasn't going to diss him until they were talking about him so bad in the magazine that became part of the promotion. Them destroying, 50 Cent destroying he was just completely destroying him. They put all their market into before 50 album hit. The protection, order of protection. That's why 50 Cent put out the freestyle, titled it Order of Protection. Because every time you put 50 Cent Order of Protection, it would take off. You would get the song and you won't get the actual Murder Inc. interview talking about they got the paperwork on 50 Cent. The actual order protection song comes up. So they were able to help drown out because they actually owns XXL. They quietly own XXL magazine. They bought it. A lot of people don't know that. Shady Records bought out XXL. They bought XXL because the former owner of XXL magazine, they told Eminem he would never get their cover because he's a white rapper. They would never put a white rapper on the cover of their magazine. Benzino gave him the cover, and it was one of their top selling magazines. That's why Eminem he dissed XXL in the song Marshall Mathers. Y'all remember that? Double XL, double XL. When he's like, I'm going to give y'all some help. And I shouting their names out. His last hit song, I'm the Man. Yep. I even buy a couple myself. And to compete against the Source magazine, they bought out XXL. Start giving XXL all the exclusive interviews. Have you noticed every time a Shady record is coming out, Shady Record artists, they get the cover of XXL? You have never noticed that? Proof Def made the cover of XXL. Yes, Benzino was with the Source. And when they had the feud at the time, that's when they bought XXL to compete against the Source to shut them out. Anything Shady Records drop gets the cover. They had a 5-page Proof Def article on XXL. Proof was in everybody's magazine and probably on one page. Why in the world would Proof Def get like a whole D12 pullout in 4 or 5 different pages in the XXL? Slaughterhouse come out, they get the cover. Every time 50 did anything, they got the cover. Game, cover. Anything that has something to do with Shady Records and Interscope, they got the cover. It was their magazine. It's still their magazine. Plus, it also helps 50 Cent was banging the chick that works there. So, and then they had to put Lil Wayne in his place. Oh, what's her name? Pauline, the little white girl with the big tits that keep bouncing around, sleeping with all the rappers. Vanessa. That's her name, Vanessa. Well, Lil Wayne made a remark like dissing Eminem. And Paul Rosenberg and them had to reach out. Y'all don't remember Lil Wayne dissed him? So they had to reach out to him, and Lil Wayne apologized for what he said after it was told. Like, dude, are you insane? Did you just diss Eminem? So Eminem was going to diss him, Kanye West, and Drake. They decided to go against it. Paul Rosenberg convinced Eminem that wouldn't be a good idea because they own the streets right now. You're trying to come back into the game. Use them to come back. And then diss them on the records. In your own fashion. But use them to get into the new younger audience. Right now the younger audience is Drake, Kanye, and Lil Wayne. You need to use them to come up. Eminem wasn't ready for that. I mean, lyrically, he could destroy them. And he actually did. On the records. People just didn't pay attention to him. But he was destroying them on records. Because lyrically he could. But the young people wasn't trying to hear Eminem. So he had to do songs with him. Like Drop the World and all this stuff. I'ma pick up the world, I'ma drop it on you up the head. Yep, and the Forever record, the Forever remix, had Eminem on it. And he killed him on it. All of it was strategic to get Eminem back with the younger crowd. Because Eminem had fallen off completely. Oh yeah, Love the Way You Lie. This was when they changed Eminem. He became a pop record maker now. That was his first album where he went into this alternative music. Like he was sounding like Stevie Nicks. One of Jimmy Iovine's artists. I love the way you lie. Yeah, they changed up his whole image. They dyed his hair was back his normal color. He was back with the black hair. He took out the blue contact lenses. He's not afraid to be himself now. And boy, did I hate that song. I was ready to jump off a roof just like the video. I'm not afraid, take a stand, everybody, hold my hand, everybody, let's talk this road together through the storm. Okay, give me a rope, I'm gone. I cannot get jiggy with this. You gonna know it because they played it on everything that wasn't rap. See, when Eminem came out, he was played on stations that you never heard play rap before. It'd be like country western. We got a new debut here by a new rap artist named Eminem. Let's listen. He was on country music station, B96, anything you can do. The rock station, the alternative stations. He was all over MTV. They had a special for Eminem every week. And we're going to go to the Eminem cam. He had little skits on on MTV. He had everything. Where the regular rapper, they got Power 105, Hot 97. That's it. And I mean, this is the Jay-Z's and the Kanye's. They were on Hot 97, Power 105. Now, what can Paul Rosenberg do? I think he's going to be the face. He's going to come up with some ideas, but it's just so they can have a identity again. Paul Rosenberg, the man whose picture has been with Eminem. Eminem, I mean, Steve Bortles is still going to run Def Jam. It's like when Jay-Z was the president. When L.A. Reid was running the company. Jay-Z was the face of Def Jam. His job was to bring in ideas. So basically, Paul Rosenberg is the new Jay-Z. Steve Bortles is still going to run the day-to-day operations, the signings, all of these things that you see. Paul Rosenberg is to identify and hang out with the artists and make the facial appearances and the photographs. That's going to be Paul Rosenberg during the interviews. You guys probably don't know who Steve Bortles is, and you probably won't know if you saw him. So, so it wouldn't make any difference. His job is to just run the company. He has no other alternatives that he want to do. He don't want to do interviews. And with L.A. Reid, in his situation, when did Bortles get fired? I thought he had an administrative role still. Well, if that's the case, then they really screwed. Because if Paul running it, that means Jimmy's running it. And if Jimmy's running it, then, the hand. I didn't think Bortles got fired. I'm like, why would they even let him get fired? I mean, there's plenty of proof stories, but you don't want to mention them because a lot of it is not good. I agree. 50 Music is way better than him. Steve can step down. Steve just wants to go ahead and run the company from the side. When Jay-Z was president, how many people knew about L.A. Reid? The only thing you knew is that he was in the building, but he the one did all the meetings. He's the one did all the signings. Nobody sat down with Jay-Z and said, okay, let's do a deal. L.A. Reid was the one to pull those triggers. Now, Jay-Z brought in new talent, like he brought Rihanna in at one point. But his big accomplishment was what? Rick Ross? Rick Ross and Jeezy. And so far, they're really not making any money off Rick Ross. See, that's the thing. They're making a little bit of money, but it's not a lot. That's why Rick Ross got to keep doing shows. He got to keep going out performing and keep dropping whack albums. Yo, I got a new album coming out. It's called On My Way to the Store. And man, I'm telling you, this on this way to the store, man, it's like this is what I was born to make. This is the album I was born to make. You disagree? Why would you disagree? It's exactly the truth. I mean, you could disagree. Those are facts. Rick Ross do not bring in a lot of money. He does not sell a lot of records. They're eating off him like vultures. They're just not. It's like, look, I'm not going to throw away my money, but they're not making no money off Rick Ross' album. Tell me one song off Rick Ross' last album. I told you why his music sucks. His music sucks. Rick Ross' music sucks because trap. Yeah, trap. Trap. That ain't nothing but skirt. 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 Now, yeah, that's why nobody can remember a Rick Ross song. But you still talking about 50 Cent songs that are like 10 years old. He's not even a cop. He's a rapper. Rick Ross is a rapper, period. That's just it. A rapper who was associated with goons. He turned on those goons and went rolling around with Jay-Z and everybody else. All them goons from Carol City and all them, with Trick and all of them, he broke from them. No, Rick Ross don't. Rick Ross ain't made to, he's made to rap one way, but none of the songs hold any weight. They're all forgettable. You'll forget a Rick Ross song in a week, and then it's gone. That's why his records don't sell. Because it's like, okay, that was a good tune, and it's alright. But it's nothing that has anything that catches you. It's gimmick music. He's just milking a gimmick. There's no feeling in it. If this was back in the 90s or early 2000s, he wouldn't have a career. He'd be out. Or he'd be writing for somebody. Exactly. It's nothing there. It's all empty. All his raps are empty. No, he's not, Raz. That's the illusion. That man owes money and taxes. He got to keep performing to pay on that house. He better hope them Wingstop checks keep coming. Rick Ross has to keep performing. He has to keep doing albums and keep doing shows to keep the lights on. You know what catchy beats get you? Catchy beat is just like, oh man, he got a real nice beat. Then somebody else's song come on and got a catchy beat. What you gonna think about the Rick Ross song? Well, if he could stop eating up all the wing stops they got in there, maybe he could be all right. He signed to 3 different people. Rick Ross is signed to Jay-Z and Diddy. They gonna eat before Rick Ross eat. They the only thing keeping him relevant. Jay-Z only sold him because 50 Cent got rid of Rick Ross. Rick Ross is gone. He was finished. Diddy came in. Jay-Z was like, man, look, 50's gonna get rid of him. I can't sell a record with this guy. You know, this Deeper Than Rap album, it just cost us a lot of money. We didn't sell any records with this. Yeah, we're done. And Puff was like, look, let me come in let me get at least, I'll sell you half of what I got, Puff. I bet I come in for half. And Diddy and 50 had made up at that time. Until he went and bought, he was like, Diddy, did you just buy Rick Ross? Did you just buy a piece of Rick Ross? Why would you do that and you know I'm getting rid of him? Oh, I just saw an opportunity, because, I could bring him back. No, I'll fix that with you and him. No, you can let that go. Fifth is over. You won. Let it go. I feel like I could revive him. I think he'll do right this time. I'll make sure he don't talk about you. That's not what I want. I want him out. He crossed the line. And when you cross the line, Puff, and if you take this position, if you join with my enemies, you gonna be my enemy, Puff. Alright, man. That's what you wanna do, man. Alright. Next thing you know, Puff went and did the deal anyway. Rick Ross is a worker. He works for Puffy and Jay-Z. And the only way he gonna eat is he finds some other artists he can eat off of. Hence, Meek Mill, Wale, and everybody else. That's why Meek Mill can't get a dime. And he broke. They got show dough. See, people don't understand what we mean by broke. Y'all be like, man, you see that, man? He got like 10 stacks. He got like 100 stacks just for that show. What do you think Meek Mill bills are like? Meek Mill got his mama a house. He got to pay on that. He got a nice car. He got to pay on. He got 4 other families he's taking care of. What's $100,000? You had a tour that couldn't even get off the ground because you couldn't get them to sell tickets. You and Yo Gotti. They canceled the whole tour because y'all wasn't selling any tickets. I gave y'all the real numbers. His actual sales is around 65. Tell me, have you seen Jay-Z give a verse to Meek Mill? It was exactly what I told you. He was like, you got to get yourself hot. I've done all I can. You got to get yourself back hot now. Why Meek? Why not Meek Mill? That's not true. People sign 360 deals because it's beneficial to them. You get a lot of money up front. That's why. People don't, if I came to you for a record deal and you say you can give me this much money, I wouldn't care if you got a piece of a show, you got a piece of this, you got a piece of that. I'm not in position. I'm broke. This 360 deal gonna help me out more than it's gonna help the record label because nobody knows me. So they're gonna want to spend money to put me on every platform in the world so that people get to know me. That's what they're gonna want to do. Cause why wouldn't you? We're invested in this now. Jay-Z is at the end of his 360 deal. While he doing all this talking, he just came out of a 360 deal with Live Nation. Yeah, see, you're thinking long run. How many of these artists have a long run? See, you guys are thinking like, okay, but in the long run, though, it's going to hurt you because that's why you have years and terms in these deals. And now that Jay-Z's deal is up, he's got the whole platform to do whatever it is that he want to do. Nicki is in a 360 deal. That's why she signed also with Tidal. But she's in a 360 deal, but she got a partnership with Tidal, which really didn't help her at all. Drake was the smartest man alive. Drake went over to and took that deal that ended up being $30 million and then spent that into Apple Gold. Now he's making 30 and 40 a year. Kanye West, they paid him $20 million to stay. That's what Jay like. I gave him 20 mil. He gave me 20 minutes. You ain't give him 20 nothing. You gave him what you owed him. You ain't want him to leave. Apple had upped the money. They offered him 20, then they offered him like 40 to come over to Apple. But he said, let me stay here with my brother, and that's what happened. At my brother's keeping, Jay was, nah, not me. I ain't his brother. Shoot. They thought they was going to keep it like Nino and G. That's what Beanie Siegel thought. I thought we was going to be like Nino and G. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, this is the problem. And this is where the disconnect came in at. Because this is where 50 Cent was telling them about. 50 Cent was telling them basically that these guys take the street motto. And when you call yourself Rock La Familia, we the Rock family for life, people take that seriously. But you're the actual president and CEO of the company. You're not talking as if the label, Jay thinking of it as this just business. They thinking for real, like we a family. And we gonna ride out and do this as a family together. They were taking penitentiary chances just to protect something that wasn't theirs. How many times we've seen that? And now Jay-Z is telling them, don't die for that building that you don't own. But yet you have people about to die for the record label that they didn't own. People locked up right now in jail over shooting and stabbing people over the Nas and Jay-Z beef from Rockefeller Records. They don't talk about that. There's a lot of people in jail over that beef. I know it's a lot of dudes from Marcy. It's a lot of dudes. Tell me, why is G to K back in Marcy? Why is he the one putting out Marcy artists? Why is G to K out there trying to promote the young talent out there in Marcy? Isn't that Jay-Z's job? All he do is use people up till he can't use them no more. The nature of the beast. Yayo never left Queens. Yayo is the type of guy who can't function. He can't function. That's like Jungle. Those dudes know where they need to be at all times. Like they need to be plugged in the hood. Them being out in Connecticut in a big old house in a room and all that stuff, they ain't where they comfortable at. They can't function out there. You can't put them in a suit. You imagine Tony Yayo in a suit, sitting up there and chilling at an award show. You know, he'd be, yo, give me a square. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, man? I'm trying to holler at that stupid little beat that's sitting up there in the front row. She think because she got some movies or something, she owns something. I don't even know what she talking about. I should smack her. You know what I'm saying? No, some stupid bird. Yeah, she got some movie coming out, so she's sitting in the third row next to fifth. Oh, I can't do this? Security throwing me out? So, yeah, this little dirty, nasty broad. She was a freak in that movie. That's what I told her. I'm like, you get down like that for real, shorty? Once you talk like that, it's completely over with. And that's the environment that happened. I've seen this happen live. I never forget it. It was, Floyd got a bunch of people that don't get on TV. And there's a reason they don't get on TV. They don't interview them. They don't talk to these guys at all. These dudes are not supposed to be in these surroundings. But Floyd wants them there because he's comfortable with them there because he knows if something go down, somebody going to sleep. And they had a couple of people in there that they's like, oh, snap, that's Tyrese. What's up, man? Tyrese, man, what's up, baby boy? Yeah. Dude, did you really hit that? Did you really F that Braun and baby boy? Because it looked like you was hitting that. You was hitting that, boy. You was hitting that. Yeah. Ty, I know you was hitting that. Shoot, I'd have went up in it. I'd have went up in that. Shit, I bet she been with it. I bet she was with it, Ty. Bet she was with it. I mean, that's how they talk. They're not even supposed to be in that surrounding. So they cool with Tyrese that Justin Bieber has showed up with Selena Gomez. They was, man, Jay, look at that. You got your piece with you, man. I see you, JB. I see you. What's up, Ma? She was not comfortable with this scenario, the surrounding. It was way too much niggerdom. She was not comfortable. Smashing Trina, yeah. I mean, if I had diseases, yeah, I might as well be like, well, hey, I got diseases. Why not? You know where I got that word from? Charlie Murphy. So I couldn't copyright that word and take that credit for that. Charlie Murphy created all this back in '93. He used to always say these words. He used to say niggerdom and gangsterdom. I'm 3 generations deep in gangsterdom. That's Charlie. I cannot take credit for that at all. No, you're not, Sam Gray. It's not too many. That's what I'm saying. Like Eddie is, you don't understand. Eddie Murphy, only beef he had was with, it wasn't really a beef. It was a more of an understanding. Is with Raphael Sadiq. And nobody even know about all of this. But it was an understanding between the two. And it was made to look like there was a problem, but it really wasn't no problem. It's just Hollywood. It's like, look, you had the B, I'll pass the B to you. It was one of those situations. Yeah. Yeah. It was a situation. But it wasn't that serious because Eddie Murphy is like Fort Knox. You ain't really finna get nothing out of him. Too many stories. Anybody who knows something is dead. Now back in the 80s and all those Ed stories, those are there. That's when Ed used to go out a lot. Ed don't go out too many places. And when he do go out too many places, there are no cameras. There's nobody there but a couple of celebrities there. They go to galas. He don't go out to like how Ed was when he was Beverly Hills Cop Ed, When he was out there. Oh man, she's bad. No, she's bad. Y'all tripping. Cuteness, sweet thing. It was something else, boy. Like Ray Charles blew his mind. Was it Ray? Not Ray Charles. Little Richard. Little Richard came in there and was talking to Eddie Murphy. Eddie, I want you to let me put my healing hands on you, Eddie. Because I'm telling you, I pray for you, Eddie. I pray for you, Eddie. And that's why I got my new book, Eddie. My new book, Eddie. It's for you. Man, you talk about laughing. This is like 84. Man, he was dying laughing. I think, because they were talking about Prince is me. Prince is me in this new generation. Prince is me right now in this new generation. And this is my new book. In my new book, it talks about all these things that's coming, that was from the past, is coming today. And Eddie, I pray for you. Because Eddie, I pray for you because you out there in that world. I've been watching you come up, Eddie. You're doing great things. Eddie was dying. Eddie was imitating Little Richard all night. No matter who came over to the table. I'm praying for you. Wait a man, I'm praying for you. You know why? Because you are me in this new generation. Now bring the food over, man. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for all of you at this table. And I'm putting that in my new book. Ed was cracking everybody up that night. It was pretty funny. Pretty funny impersonation. What's wrong with 360 deals? Here's the thing about a 360 deal. It depends on what position are you in when you sign the 360 deal. Was it a bad idea when Jay-Z signed the 360 deal with Live Nation? He just got out of the 360 deal. Now he's in a much better position. Jay was dumb for signing a 360 deal. Jay-Z is about to be a billionaire. Did he look dumb for signing that 360 deal? But that's what I'm saying. He got a record talking about y'all still signing deals. Like, dude, you just got out of a 360 deal and signed another deal for them. But the deal now he signed now makes it more lucrative for him. So they're only getting paid if he puts out albums. So Jay got to put out new material and tour. Because now when he do shows, that's the only time he really got to split money. All the stuff from records and albums, he gets to keep now. And it's all good. He keep more of the money back now. Now he's at the point when he renegotiated and he's out of the 360 deal. Before Rock Nation got a piece of everything they did. Everything. But now he's in a position to get out. But look how many years Live Nation had him and how much money they gave Jay. They the one structured all the tours. They the one made the tours. See, what happened is, this is what happened. Al Heyman was responsible for all these tours back in the day. Al Heyman, before Live Nation really came out and decided to make a group, Al Heyman was doing all the promotion for tours. And Al was making so much money. I keep telling y'all, Al Heyman's a billionaire. And people are like, man, he ain't no billionaire. You just be lying, man. And then y'all saw him come out with that fund. Y'all see him have that fund, that hedge firm fund, where he got like billions of dollars to play with. And then everybody's like, oh, where did he get that from? I'm like, I've been telling you, the man is a billionaire. He was a multi-millionaire when MC Hammer was out. He was working deals for Pepsi and everybody else. He was a multi-millionaire then. He went to Harvard and he came from Cleveland. He probably the best thing to ever come out of, I think he's from Cincinnati. But he's the best, smartest thing to ever come out of these places. And his brother was a boxer. And his brother ended up getting knocked out by Sugar Ray Leonard. He was dead broke. And he said, man, if I was in boxing, I would fix it. I could run the whole thing. He looked at how boxing was organized. He's like, this thing is so disorganized. I could come in and run the whole thing. I just don't really want to. So he didn't do it. He let it go for a while. Vernon Forrest was the first fighter he ever signed and worked with. And you used to see Al Heyman, but now that because of the internet, he don't want to be seen. So he takes himself out of the equation. He even had the internet washed where all his pictures was removed. Now it's at the point where he don't even care, but he tells the camera, don't film me, nothing. Al Heyman will not do an interview with anybody, period. That's just the way he's been. And he ran the concerts market forever. All the old concerts from New Edition to Frankie Beverly and Mays, it was Al Heyman Promotions. And they were all the international concerts, everything. Puffy, the Bad Boy tour they did back in 96. He was getting these rappers paid, and he was getting all these other artists paid. Al Heyman has set it all up and paid the money. So all of a sudden, Live Nation group comes in, and Beyonce was going to do this tour with Al Heyman and everything else, and they saw that Al was getting some money or whatever, and they sued. They pushed them to sue Al Heyman. It was a whole big mess. Al just paid the money. Al don't really care about going to no court. Al will cut the check. Al be like, look, here. What you say I owe? There you go. I don't want to be bothered. Just go. That's Al. So money don't mean anything to Al. Al has enough money he will never be broke. That's what I'm trying to tell people. I'm like, Al Heyman was involved in a project that's worth billions. He's got a project that's going on in South Africa. That's why Floyd Mayweather was even there. He let Floyd get a piece of it. Once that project and everything gets building, the equity and all the money that's on that, it guarantees revenue for years to come. That's where the money's at in all these projects. Have I ever met him? Not like, hey, how you doing, Al? Al had passed by. Everybody thought Sam Watson was Al Heyman for years. I was like, that's Sam. You're Al Heyman too? But they was like, look, that's Al Heyman. And he would just turn around and be like, yeah, what's up? But Al used to be there before people started paying attention and noticing him. But Al don't like people talking about him. He don't like people asking questions about him. None of these things. So when Live Nation came and started doing concerts with Beyonce, they were able to pay them large chunks of money, but keeping the ticket prices like at least affordable. Back then, ticket prices were very high. That was the standard. Like if you want standard quality, you're going to have to pay for it. Mr. Jackson Hall, if you want to stick around here, one, having my picture as your whatever thumbnail, not a good idea. Two, if you're going to ask real questions, you can stick around. If not, you're going to be, ooh, he is gone. Yeah, I mean, you've seen him before, but I'm not going to talk to you and hold a conversation. Sometimes he does. Like if he signs you and you're an artist that's signed to him, then yeah, you would get those type of conversations without him. Well, tell me a record label that didn't go from sugar to it. And I'll show you a record label that's basically the same as anybody else. They all got bought out. Labels are now removed. Everybody's got their pieces, chess pieces in every section. Leo Cohen got all his henchmen working, all the people that work for him. He made them executives at all these different cornerstones. So if he needs to get something done, they all go through Leo Cohen. And he's now running music completely. And then Jimmy's got his Interscope, which really putting out indie records and all these other stuff after they helped screw up hip hop. So nothing like some good old sardines for breakfast. Well, because Leo Cohen is in the record business. And in the record business, you got to spend money to make money. And when you spend money and don't, everything that you do in the record business is not a profit. You take a lot of losses. And you take a lot of losses before you find something that actually hit. You know, so you're like, thank you. This one hit. It's just like a boxing promoter. You know, it's very few of them are doing actually really well or super rich. Most of these promoters, they got other jobs. I've seen some boxing promoters. I'm like, you the promoter? I'll make more money than you. I'm making more money than boxing promoters. I'm like, that ain't right. How did that happen? Black owned labels now, zero. Zero. Don't exist no more. I mean, look at LaFace. I'm like, LaFace didn't really put out any vulgar music. The majority of their music, the only thing vulgar they had was Goody Mob and Outkast. Why they label didn't make it? They had some of the largest selling soundtracks in history. The Boomerang soundtrack and the Bodyguard soundtrack. Both of those soundtracks came back to back. Sold over 10 million records. Easy. But this chat has been nice. Don't forget, we're going to do a live movie chat. I'm going to go to Screen Fiend. Don't forget to go to Screen Fiend account. That's 2 words, Screen, and then Fiend, which is Fiend. In case somebody gets confused. They're 2 separate words. It's not together. Boomerang was the major, I mean, Boyz II Men was the major seller of that soundtrack, but it wasn't one of just that song alone. Every song on that soundtrack is a hit. The PM Dawn, are you kidding me? Tribe Called Quest, Hot Sex on the Platter. Hot Sex on the Platter. Where you at? Love should have brought you home last night. Man, every chick was using that in the street. Love should have brought you home last night. But I did come home. You know what I mean. You was getting hit upside the head. Love should have brought you home last night. Slap. You couldn't do nothing. Marshall Mathers LP 1. even though they're basically the same thing. The only thing that Marshall Mathers LP 1 had that the Slim Shady album didn't have was some structured song. The Way I Am and Stand. Those two songs were breakouts. Those were the I'm Marshall Mathers song. Those were, to me, nobody played that song but me. When Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP came out, I was the only one that played that song to title track Marshall Mathers. Cause I'm just Marshall Mathers. And that was the diss. That ended up being the diss track to ICP. Insane Clown Posse. You know, somebody that had like 1% black audience. So people like, who the heck are they? Eminem was battling a bunch of clowns? Because I was put here to put fear into some clowns who spray fragrant root beer, call themselves clowns because they look queer. Faggot, too dope, and silent gay. This is claiming Detroit when they live 20 miles away. And I don't wrestle, I knock you out. Look at y'all running your mouths again when you ain't seen a mile roll south for 10. And I don't need help from D12 to beat up two females with makeup when they try to scratch me with Lee nails. Slim Anus. Damn right, Slim Anus. I don't get ucked in mine like you two little flaming faggots. Cause I'm just Marshall Mathers. Why do people think I don't? If I tell you the truth about something that happened, it don't mean I hate the person. I hate or dislike what he did. He did something that he shouldn't have done. He opened Pandora's box to let the demons in. And he left the door uncracked. When hip hop let him through the door, he left the door open for all these other clowns to come in and take apart hip hop. That's what he did. Now, have I ever said Eminem couldn't rap? No. But he's not the greatest rapper of all time. He's not what everybody thinks he is. That's the promotion. That's the marketing. There's plenty of rap artists that have way more depth than Eminem. Have you heard Eminem songs where he tries to go in depth and like tell stories about his life and it sounds like a third grader wrote it? His story raps are just not that great. Oh, I've been done one on the Detroit. It's on the Screen Fiends. How could you miss that? Go to my Screen Fiend movie review, and I did review Detroit. It's Screen Fiend, which is FIEND. Fiend. Screen, then Fiend. 2 words. Not that hard. You'll see the logo for it. You go over there, you'll see me there. We're going to do a live chat today on Screen Fiend. We're going to do a live stream. So when you get that live stream alert, there you go. Today, I'm going to tell you what happened, the truth behind Spider-Man. If I can find it. Did he take my Spider-Man too? Oh, I was gonna say. The truth behind this. When you go on YouTube, that's where you would type it in. We'll tell you the truth behind this. The movie's not completely trash. It's a problem that happened while making the movie. We discussed it before. There's a scene in here that was edited out that should have been kept in. They brought his father into the play. It's a lot of stuff that was good that happened in here. Yes, when you go on YouTube, you type the name in for the person that asked. No, we're going to go into the reason why you didn't see part 3 of this. Why it wasn't finished. We touched on it a little bit. Vegan Steven, what's going on? Do I drop any conscious videos? A lot of videos I do are conscious. Not scream, fiend. Screen. Like movie screen, TV screen, screen. Jamie Foxx was meant to be in it. This wasn't, people don't understand. The only problem in this film is it's colluded with a whole bunch of things it don't need. This character did not need to be here. We did not need him. They needed him, the Goblin, only to kill her. Gwen Stacy. That was it. That's the only reason his purpose was in the film. They could have just let Electro do it and wrap all that up. They put too much in it, and it led to a whole bunch of problems. And it's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes y'all don't know anything about that caused this to be destroyed. They destroyed this whole thing. Plus the script for part 3, we already know what the synopsis was, everything for Spider-Man 3. The Amazing Spider-Man 3, The Sinister Six. I'm going to tell you exactly what it was on the last one, on the next live chat. I'm going to tell you all about it. The script, the plot, why you didn't see it, and everything. And why it got destroyed. But I'm out. Y'all have a blessed day.